Hey guys, I'm Tony.
I'm Jill.
And we are rolling with the Bowlins on most days. Most of the time we're just Tony and Jill. So we were kind of sitting around today, thinking about all the things that we've learned since we've become full-time RVers. And we would love to share all of what we've learned, but we've been full-time now for almost 2 years, or over 2 years now.
Yeah, over 2 years.
Over 2 years now. And we'd probably be here another 2 years trying to explain to what we've learned in the last 2 years for the next 2 years. So we'd have 4 years tied up, and then we'd still be having
new things to tell you.
Yeah. So anyway, we've kind of narrowed it down to a few things that we've learned.
Right.
Well, first thing we've learned is that you really need a water filtration system, especially like in places that's mostly desert, because you ain't finding good water unless you go store-bought.
Yeah, which is weird because you would think it would probably be more processed, but it's not.
Yeah. So having a good water filtration system is key to not making yourself or your pets sick if you travel with pets. So you definitely want to have some sort of filtration system from the water coming in, and you also want to have what's that thing we use?
We use a zero water, something rather, zero water, I think. But there's numerous. There's the, I just talked about it. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of different filters you can do. You can do the filters that are on your faucets. You can do the filters that are outside. You can do the Berkey. You can do the water things that sit on top of your counters. But I don't recommend those because they take up your counter spaces.
Or you can always do like the old school way, boil the water and let it calm down.
Which we've done, and I don't think it does as well as it should, but it make it drinking water, but still.
When in doubt, go buy bottled water.
Yeah.
So that is one of the biggest things we've learned about that, because like I said, drinking contaminated water can severely make you sick and make your animals sick. So you don't want to do that full-time life. Because you might have that bad water someplace and your health insurance won't cover it because you're not in your network. Which is really sucky with insurance companies. You think about that kind of stuff with your health insurance. But that's a whole other video. And then the second thing we've learned, being full-time, is not all campgrounds or camping resorts are created equal. Right. We have been to some doozies who thought they should get premium. And
yeah, you'll find really good ones and you'll find really bad ones, and hopefully the bad ones you're only at for a very short period of time.
Out of necessity. So we've learned that aspect right there. And with not all campgrounds are related, created equally, that's where your whole reading the Google reviews, Compendium, and what's the other one that you check out? She does more of that techie side looking.
I definitely look at the reviews on the campsite's webpage if they have them. And it kind of makes me wonder when they don't have them. We actually got saved recently because somebody mentioned somebody was killed at one recently, and so we just drove right by.
Granted, when we actually drove by it and actually saw it, we wouldn't have stayed there.
Yeah, I'm sure it was perfectly fine, but it was actually in a shady neighborhood, and so it was like the whole package was wrong for us. So we're not going to tell you which one it was, but do your research.
She acts like we're too good to go to those parks.
It's what we sounded like, but we're not. It's not what we meant. Yeah. Go back a few videos where Tony was,
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, do your research. Definitely read your reviews on some of the campgrounds if you've never been there.
I do use Campendium, and then the reviews on the websites, and then we do Google it and look at the area around it through the satellite and see what it looks like.
And using the Google satellite will actually kind of help you if you're not familiar with an area. If you pull up the satellite view of that area, you can kind of see the way some of the roads are. That way you don't get yourself into a dead end as a truck driver. That's one place you don't want to be, especially with a massive piece of equipment, is into a dead-end street where you have to try to back that monster back out into traffic. So, like she said, with the Google satellite view, it gives you a little bit more, knowledge of what's the area, where you might be able to make a turn around. That way you don't get yourself in a bad situation. And also, it's also kind of nice to see the Google imagery like that right there, because you can also see inside the campground sometimes, and you can kind of tell if it's kind of a crappy place before
Right.
you book your and spend a lot of money booking a 2 or 3 week or a month stay at a place. You can kind of get a general idea. Granted, not every time you pull a Google view is going to have the most recent picture, maybe a few years old, before they started either renovating the parks or whatever. So you don't keep that at 100%. But if you have the opportunity to drive by the park before you actually commit to giving them your money, that's also a good idea. That's one of the things that we have learned as well.
Right.
And if you're not real familiar with an area, don't go in and book your first month in advance, because a lot of places do not refund your money. Generally what we do, we blow into town. We will go for a couple days and we'll test out a couple different parks, and then we'll decide which park we like the best before we actually commit to being there for 3-4 weeks or a month. That's how we like to do it. And it's been kind of nice saving our butts that way, but at the same time, it can come back to bite you, especially if you're going to be in a high traffic area.
We've also, when we are in an area, and it might be a fine area, but we might feel a little unsafe, we have asked officers in the neighborhoods to, recommend other areas, like which ones they would recommend. I mean, not every time can you have that, that opportunity to talk to an officer. You shouldn't wave them down and ask them. We just run into them, at the store or wherever, but
because we're outlaws and stuff, man, they just kind of find us. No, but that's just in passing, like
right.
Generally, if we're like in a gas station or something like that, we'll just if there's an officer there, we'll just happen to ask him, does he recommend one side of town that's better than the other, or a more safe place, like if you are going to overnight, statistically they know,
right?
Especially if it's a beat cop for the area, they can kind of suggest, man, you probably don't want to stay on this side of town after this hour. This is kind of a shady side. Go to this side of town, and a lot of them are happy to relay that information to out-of-time visitors, because they don't want you to become a statistic in their jurisdiction, because one, they don't want to clean you up and do the report. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm sure there might be some truth to that, but see, and then the other thing we learned is not all RV parks are as friendly for people with pets. We had to go out of the resort today for another. What was it? We got 7 days from our 1,000 trail membership.
Yeah.
So we got to be out 7 days. So we had to go to another resort that would accept us because we're not 55. They actually have almost like segregation going on here.
Yeah, they got a road going through. And we were here, an hour? And 3 people already told us, do not take your dog to the other side.
Yeah. So, and this is supposed to be her resort. So basically, it's like, most people who knows what a city block is, this is what this is. You on one side of the main cross street, you go down, and it's like a little housing neighborhood. That's where some campers are down there. That's the non-pet friendly side, which is the actual nicer looking side. Then the other side of the resort is actually for everybody with pets. And there's no dog friendly stuff for the dogs, the pets, your animals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, that's kind of rude. But yeah, we're still paying the same price they are paying across the way.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I believe we kind of got spoiled in the last 2 weeks when staying at a resort. You will find that when you stay at a resort or a higher end campground and you go to another one, it really stands out. But I mean, this one's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
It just doesn't have swimming pools.
Doesn't have shuffleboard or swimming or crafts or I'm just kidding. I mean, it doesn't, but we don't need all that.
You got to keep things important.
That's right.
So we've learned.
He's just like he's still here. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So no, we actually we've learned a few things, like the campgrounds are not created equal. Water filtration,
electric.
You also got to be mindful of your electric and make sure everything works good. If the box was sketchy, yeah, you really want to make sure you got
good power, level
sites, and
don't be afraid to ask if the campground's somewhat empty. I mean, if it's full, obviously don't ask, but don't be afraid to ask for a different site if the box doesn't look right, the site is not level, or whatever, the trees are too close so your slides don't come out.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid to ask. Granted, they might not like it, but you know what? It's your money. Hey,
right.
Either move or give my money back.
Right. And most of, I mean, we've had...
Generally, they'll give you another site because they will give you your money back.
Right. And you're there to be happy, and if you give them a bad review, that's money out of their pockets.
Now, granted, we try not to... I don't think we've actually written a bad review on any place.
No. Most campgrounds, like I said, are they're fine, and they're nice, and
that's because we actually used, what we're telling you guys, the whole compendium reviews and, the general looking through Google Satellite to make sure what it kind of looks like before we actually get there. And the testing out of the parks.
And if we get there and it looks shady.
Yeah, we're not afraid to just drive away.
Or drive through areas that are really a walkway.
Even if we've reserved... Even if we've reserved a campground and it looks kind of shady when we get there, we're out $50-$60 for the night. Sometimes being out $50-$60 a night's is worth it to not have to deal with. Am I going to wake up in the morning?
Right.
So,
Safety
or am I going to
first.
wake up with my tow rig, or somebody else hauling us down the highway? So anyway.
Safety first.
Safety first. That's really some of the biggest things we've learned as full-time RVers. And we've learned that we really enjoy full-time RVing. Some days more than others.
Yeah. And I think we've learned things will happen. Things will break. And you can either roll with it and figure it out and fix it, or you can let it totally ruin you. So positivity is the way to go. On my book. I don't know what it is.
No, but like I said, there's a few things that we've learned that's been pretty important to us, and I think it's some of the things that we usually look at when we're planning on going to a new place, especially if we've never been there before. The 1,000 Trails thing is going pretty good. We've already got our next month booked out.
Besides for the 1 week out, but
yeah, so we have to be back out there one more week after, but we'll go back in for 14 days for absolutely free, and the nice resort that we were at with all the swimming pools, putt course, shuffleboard, pickleball.
That was another thing we learned about holidays. And
you got to watch your holidays and make sure you get planned. And planning sometimes is a good thing about,
right,
especially during the holidays, getting your trips and your stays planned accordingly if there's going to be a holiday around that particular time. Usually, we've always been the fly by the seat of our pants. But like I said, we really got a reality check when we got out here to the Arizona area with a lot more of the 55 and older parks and a lot more snowbirds coming in. And this year, because the weather, actually the last couple of years, because the weather's just completely bonkers. Wacky, bonkers, whatever. But it's just, there's no real way to keep a pattern. Now, like, we're not going to be here much more a little bit after January here in the Arizona area. Just one, that's when it's peak season here, and it's pretty much going to be almost impossible to get a campground here in January. So we'll be going, hopefully, our plan is Quartzsite. We'll be doing Quartzsite, and then we'll be heading back east. Well, possibly north, then back east. But anyway, that's really the only thing we got to share with you guys today. It's a few things that was kind of on our mind, and we were just kind of thinking about it. Didn't really plan for a video today. Just wanted to kind of share with you guys a little bit what it's like to be full-time and some of the things that we, I guess, kind of pretty much rely on now.
Right.
Well, until next time, this is Jill. I'm Tony.
That's Tony.
Oh, really?
Please like and subscribe.
That's right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, Tony and Jill here from Rolling with the Bolins. Thanks for joining us today. So if you're new to the channel, that's who we are. I'm Tony, this is Jill, or Jill and this is Tony, and I don't know. She's got me doing this shit now.
Please like and subscribe. Good.